it's that time of the year when something magical happens in the air and almost everybody feels like setting resolutions. So if that is you and you are thinking about setting resolutions for yourself and more importantly you want to stick with those resolutions, then this episode goes out for you. Up it and another episode of the Actionables podcast, and welcome to the last episode for this year. I want to give a very special shout out to each and every one of you who has supported and who has tuned in every week. Thank you so much. And if you're new here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to move toward your life goals, because this channel brings you mindset coaching tips every week. So with that, happy holidays and let's get into this episode. Statistically speaking, 8 out of 10 people set a resolution every year. But by the end of January, 80% give up on those resolutions. So let's see why this happens. Surely the people who set these resolutions don't intend on giving them up. So the intent of achieving the resolution is there. So what happens? Like, what goes wrong? Could it be the way people pursue those resolutions? Well, the methodology cannot really be blamed because most of the people who do set resolutions have access to internet, which offers the best practices to pursue any goal there is. So I'm thinking the intent to pursue goals is there. The way to pursue those goals is also freely available. Then what compels 80% of the people to give up on their resolutions? Assuming that every single person who sets a resolution has the right intent and knows how to go about pursuing their resolutions in the right way. The only missing link really that I can think about there are 2 kinds of people who set resolutions. The first are the kind of people who think it would be nice to stick with their resolutions. And second, who don't think it would be nice, but make it an absolute must that they should stick with their resolution and see it through. Which one do you suppose are the people who actually achieve the resolution? Of course, it's the second kind of people. The second kind of people have a deeper reason and they know exactly why they must achieve those resolutions that they set out for themselves. So even though the New Year ritual of setting resolutions might be a common practice, but it doesn't help if you are not clear about why you want to set those resolutions and reach them in the first place. Which is why it is necessary to talk about how to stick with your New Year resolutions. There are some super simple practices that you can follow if you're feeling inspired to set those resolutions and if you want to actually stick with them. First practice is plan for success. Now, even before you think about setting that resolution, this step requires you to sit and think about some of the small and then big changes that you're going to have to make. Now, if this step is done correctly, then it can do 2 things for you. One is it may scare the living wits out of you, where you get extremely scared about even thinking about pursuing this particular goal, or it will give you the encouragement that you have everything that you need within you to pursue and achieve this resolution. The thing to remember here is that whatever you choose to believe is actually a battle of your mind. So you can choose to get inspired or you can choose to let the fear take over you. But that choice is completely up to you. The second practice is to research best practices. This practice is all about researching what is the best route to reach your particular goal. Do you need to read books? Do you need to watch videos? How can you best soak up information that is relevant to this goal? Because the chances are someone somewhere out there has already achieved what you are trying to achieve. So the best way to go about it would be to do your research. This is the homework stage. Without doing this step, you are going to open yourself up and be more vulnerable to the changes that you will have to make. So armor up with the right knowledge, with the right information. And the final practice is to customize those best practices. I cannot stress this enough that not every knowledgeable thing out there works for everyone. It is about figuring out what resonates with you. Discern what is meaningful to you and what you are trying to achieve for yourself, and then get really excited about figuring out a way to take those best practices and pick and choose. It is really about figuring out what works for you. It is about finding joy in how you pursue your goals. So, in the end, I want to suggest don't set a resolution for the wrong reason. If you don't set a resolution or a goal for that matter for the right reasons, you're going to quit it for the wrong reasons. Wrong, such as you won't feel like making the right changes and doing what is necessary, because it is going to require effort and time and change on your part. If you are completely convinced that this is something that you want to do for yourself this year, then I encourage you to go ahead and write down the very reason why you want to set your goals, why you want to do this. Because when you face challenges, and that is a given, you can look back at the reason why you started. And if you're clear about the reason why you start to pursue your goals, that alone will help you with the remaining practices that we discussed. So I hope this year you choose a different ritual of setting your resolutions and sticking with them. Like I always say, don't forget, your goals matter, and it's really up to you to make those goals happen. Once again, from everyone here at Upit, wishing you happy holidays, a very happy new year, and we'll see you in the new year.